Okay, Mr. Humphreys. Alright, so listen, I know that I've been talking a lot about some lofty stuff here, a lot of dense ideas about business and sales, but bear with me, I have ADHD, and I have a lot of videos that are coming out. I got Battlefield 2042 video in the pipeline, I've got Nightingale Let's Play, movie pitch on the other channel, which subscribe to Goose's Crackpot Theories. If you're here already, you might as well. I've got an X-Men trailer reaction, and I believe, Madam Web review, where I cut the trailer into its order from the movie and explain why you basically saw the entire thing if you just saw the trailer. That's pretty interesting, so check that out if you get the chance. Anyway, there is a lot of stuff in progress, and it's all a process, and I do want to just kind of lighten things up for a bit, especially before election season comes. So stay tuned, and if you haven't already, please take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe if you like my content, and here we go. Short and sweet. So hello, I'm Goose, your dad, and today I'm going to give you 3 common misconceptions that non-restaurant people have about the restaurant industry. Bit of a mouthful. Specifically, this is from a business owner's point of view. I know that it's a pretty niche issue, like I know most of y'all aren't going all in on almost guaranteed major financial losses anytime soon. For those out there who have already taken the plunge or are just dead set on it, some of this might help you overcome some of the most common mistakes new owners make and save you not just your time, but also a ton of money and just maybe your life. Hit me, Goose. Honestly, I think this is more just a list of 3 things that I wish that I had known sooner when thinking about open restaurant. But that's not really a sexy title, you know, and I want to do it. I really want to, you know, I want to do the thing. I'm all blurry. I'm blurred out. So the first misconception here is location, location, location. That's what everybody says, right? Well, if you don't already know, it means that simply the business that you open is going to do well based simply on the location that you put it. A beauty salon in snowy Alaska won't succeed as easily as in LA, right? It makes sense. Well, it's really easy for those just starting out to get a concept or a location in their head right away, and to that I say, hold! Honestly, if I had to do it all over again, this is how I develop my concept. I would find a location first, something that really sings to me with a good walk score, something that I'd be happy to live in for the next 10 years or so, ideally. And then I would probably gather just about everyone that I could scrounge up, and I would poll the surrounding metro areas. It sounds very daunting, but I would try to poll like 1,000 people. The information that I would get would be the opinion of the area that these people have, the gap that exists in the food scene, whatever that may be, and ideally these people's socials of ideally at least 1,000 people. I'm saying ideally a lot, so that you can contact them when you are about to open your restaurant and say, hey, I filled that gap in the food scene, you should come check it out. I would then take what the average is of the most requested concept, and I would build that as long as I was comfortable with it, as long as I felt like I could succeed doing it, like I had the ability. Every time I think about this, I always talk about burgers. I don't know why I fixate on them so much, but I kind of laugh at the idea of there being too many burger places, because it's like that's the #1 food in America, and for some reason in my particular local area in the downtown, there's a bunch of burger places. There's at least 3 burger places, and none of them makes a good burger. There's also no good pizza places around, like within a couple of blocks of where I am, and I'm like metro area, like where I live, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So we laugh so that we don't cry. I love pizza. Anyway, the point is, fit the concept to the area and to the gap in the food scene, instead of trying to bring something to the masses. People will, for the most part, eat what you want them to eat, because if it's not on the menu, they don't think they can eat it. Like, that's not, I don't think people do come into restaurants just hoping to make up their own dishes. I just lied to myself. Boy, it's depressing. I assure you, it's an easier way of both serving the community and developing a pretty solid as fuck fan base that'll keep you afloat during those lean times, which it never hurts to have. The next big misconception is that there is some sort of a recipe for success. Do you see what yeah? Okay, so since pandemic times, a lot of businesses have popped up in both online shipping as well as in the business world, which y'all kiddos know these days as drop shipping. Oh, what the fuck, you may ask? Well, you guys can thank Mr. Beast for it. All right, just like every other thing wrong with society today. All right, thank him. Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, Jimmy Beast. This actually starts back as far as the 80s, when franchising of fast food places was sort of all the rage. You had businesses buying all these buildings that used to be banks, department stores, convenience stores, offices, gas stations, auto repair places, whatever, and putting fast food in there. The industry exploded, and expansion sort of became the model for the longest time. Remember back in the early aughts when there were like Starbucks on corners like right across from each other? Yeah, that sort of thing. So the model for business success became opening quick serve restaurants like McDonald's and Burger King. This would often be fine because the franchisees were wearing the names of the really big brands and using a lot of the same highly standardized products and operational processes across the board. Though this was typically worker exploitation and lowballing new talent as they pushed older and more expensive staff out while targeting neighborhoods of color with high fructose corn syrup and trans fats hiding behind making a difference in the community. I see you, McDonald's. I'm JK. I'm JK. I'm JK. I'm JK. Anyway, fast forward to sort of nowish, and you have an entire cottage industry of people developing concepts and flipping them. This is really sort of the concept of ghost kitchens. If you see like these really easy franchise kits, like there's food carts, things with names like Alibaba or Shawarma Cuisine, which offensive, by the way, which are usually pretty present in food cart parks, which I know, typical Portland, right? And if you see two almost identical looking carts with very similar looking foods, you can be rest assured that those places probably got everything from the same place, including the business plan, the permitting, all the compliance forms, really stuff that they're an agency in their own country gives them when they come over, but they then have to pay back these large loans, which this could be an entire conspiratorial video in itself. Either way, third-party businesses are ruining America. Hashtag whatever. Most of these places do seem to operate just sort of fine, but almost none of them are really making a profit or enough to kind of move beyond where they are. They're very fine-tuned with their margins and the margin blend. It's very hard to do anything as an owner to kind of make that spike in any kind of reliable way. They're basically designed to fail. The other problem is that these places saturate the already chock-full market of fluff in all of these sort of areas that have so many of them who are all vying for the position of the best or the man on the top of the hill. In cities like San Francisco, Portland, LA, I'm sorry, I've only lived on the West Coast. The reason I mention Mr. Beast is because he's sort of kind of the modern day kitchen drop shipper, if you will allow the birth of a new term. And he's one of the only reasons I ever heard the term Ghost Kitchen. The website Ghost Kitchen Brands, can't believe that exists, by the way, describes ghost kitchens horrifyingly transparently, actually. We freshly prepare well-known and comforting food brands in one kitchen and location, optimized for online delivery and pickup. A sleek new concept that brings your favorite comfort food brands to you, available online, in your town, in your mall, in your Walmart, multiple brands, one order, one pickup, one delivery, one world government, one satanic rule. I added that last part myself, but fits, doesn't it? Look at my eyebrows. You can see how serious I am. Guys, for the record, this is a bad thing. If you've ever had milk from one cow and then tried milk from a carton from a retailer, you would know why this is a bad thing. Making it more convenient to buy ingredients in bulk and undercut small businesses by one big company at a time not only comes really dangerously loose of oversight and into monopoly territory, but also makes the prices for products higher for small businesses, leading to dead fucking businesses. The commodification of third parties leads right here to this apex. Watch my last video. It's all about this. And literally creates a cancer. Like, it for real, think about it, is a mutated cell containing information from different parts of the restaurant industry's body. It straight up sounds like cancer. And it will only spread if we don't educate prospective business owners instead of advertising the convenience of running everything like Walmart and McDonald's at the cost of entire generations of entrepreneurs. And this goes as far as eliminating the need for any artisan goods, any small producers, any makers, any purveyors of any specialized items. It's all only lucrative to homogenize everything. And this gives all the power to the third parties who are owned by brands like Walmart. Like, it's crazy. All of this would be totally fine, except for the fact that they execute literal mob tactics to squeeze out smaller businesses. They pay their workers as close to the absolute minimum that they can while they make billions of dollars in revenue and advertise that they care about people. This is exactly how ghost kitchens are affecting online ordering, as you can't really be sure if you're getting Bellagio's or Pizza Hut, and so the reason this even applies is because opening a restaurant and maintaining that restaurant to success shouldn't be easy. It should take a precise knowledge of the industry and the operations and inner workings and how they work. It's not going to work, if not immediately, but in the long run, if you take a startup mentality or an office management or a tech mentality or whatever they try to make, or whatever, and then try to make a restaurant around that. The work comes first, and restaurants always start with the work. You need to get into a position in just about every area that you can and work for at least a year in the specific cuisine that you want to open and do. Honestly, even if it takes 10 more years than you thought, and you will absolutely love the freedom that having experience and knowledge can give you. Anyway, ghost kitchen's bad. Third party's bad. Remember that. Lastly, and this is a bit of a bullshit take, but I'm going to make it anyway. The misconception here is that restaurants are expensive. Okay. So yeah, they are, but you can operate one with a good starting chunk of cash and the right budgeting know-how. And it may be as little as 10,000 or as much as 250, but your break even can be pretty low if you consider a few things that are relatively new that I just wanted to mention because I learned about these recently myself, and I kind of wish that I had known them when I was going into opening a restaurant. So here you go. First of all, the real estate is a lot more important than you think it is. Roughly 30% of the business has always been sort of carved out for your office, your kitchen, your storage, and your essential facilities, and the rest being dedicated to tables and chairs and bar area so that you can seat as many people as possible within a small space as you can. So if you have a 3K square foot, 900 feet is your kitchen, storage, and offices. Wow, that's tiny. So it helps to know how much square feet your tables and chairs are going to take up, but you can honestly just pack people in there. If your product is good and you're filling a need, people won't care if it's standing room only. They will wait for the food. They'll be lining up out the door with any luck. Seats and filling them are also a really good indicator of how much money you're making at a glance as well throughout the night. So keep an eye on it and put as close to a rounded number as you can for easy guessing. The second part of this is the food. Make something really amazing and then make it over again and over again and over again and over again until it is the best that it can possibly be, until people are getting out of their chairs to run to the kitchen to tell you how good it was. And then feature that on the menu, limit your menu, and keep your partnerships friendly and free of financial trappings. And by that I mean, and I have to use a southern accent. Yes, I wrote that. And this. You want to get real close with the people who treat you right, and mention that in treating you right, you'll treat them right with free food, not money. Okay, so it's not that easy to get free product, but honestly, ask your local farms if they'll do work for trade. And a lot of them will say yes. It's a great way to save money and network with your peers in the farm game. The third is advertising. Now, I know that not a lot of smaller businesses advertise or even budget for it, but advertising can actually be a source of revenue if you have a tech-savvy enough client base. Even better, you can create a community online and have them patronize your business or buy merch. And if anything you create goes viral, you actually have a way to make money selling, pieces of the business, partnerships to investors. You could get sponsorships for your videos. You can start a podcast. Think about it. You could also post ads on the site that you're using as your platform for your videos or your podcast that go directly to your site for your food, who then they can buy your merch or your food online or go patronize your business. And then they're visiting your socials, and then they're visiting your YouTube channel again, and then they're watching your podcast, and you are not only triple dipping, you're making money on the deal. Well, yeehaw! And you don't have to just take my word for it. I'm about to read some words from our Lord and Savior Jimmy Beast himself, from the Holy Bible of YouTube video creation. If you want, I'll put the title in the subject, or I'll put the title in the description so you can check it out. Here we go. There is a huge opportunity on YouTube for brands. If every brand knew what I know, they could get 100 times the viewership they can get on television for the same cost. They should be giving creators like me their advertising budgets to make YouTube videos around their brand. I'll give you an example.
If I was Coca-Cola, I could build a pyramid of 1,000,000 Coca-Cola cans. Or I could make a video called, I filled my friend's house with 1,000,000 cans of Coca-Cola. Now, these are both banger ideas that I will get a ton of views if done right. This was free Coca-Cola, and next time, you'll have to pay me. Videos like these could lead to millions upon millions more returns than TV spends, and it's exponentially cheaper. And seriously, who really watches TV commercials anyway? Everyone picks up their phones during the commercials. If brands want to get real visibility, they'll have to get off the TV. What do you think people do, especially anyone under the age of 30, when the ads start rolling on TV? They pull out their phones and quit paying attention. They're not watching your commercial. Their attention's been moved to Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, TikTok. Tweets spike during TV commercials. And people don't put their phones down until the commercials are over and their show or sporting event comes back on. 3 times fewer people skip a brand deal on the YouTube than they do on the TV, because people are usually watching from their phones and they don't have a second phone to grab when they come across an ad or brand deal on YouTube, so they watch it. And they're watching a YouTuber they watch all the time, so they're also less likely to skip because they trust the YouTubers. Amen, Mr. Jimmy Beast.
Anyway, if you keep these things in mind, it actually won't cost much more than your initial investment to keep a restaurant open, as long as you don't get fooled into signing any kind of third-party contracts for services you should be doing yourself, right? Right? Also, make sure that you have around 6 months worth of working capital, and if you don't, have big-pocketed investors or investors that don't care what you do. Cool? Cool. In conclusion, I did say this video was going to be short and sweet. It's not easy to open a restaurant, and most fail because of some fairly, in hindsight, I should have known better sort of things. So hopefully someone sees this before they make the same mistakes that I did. But also keep in mind, guys, a lot of what I said is also sort of applicable to other industries as well. Food just happens to be what I know the best out of other stuff. If you guys have any similar stories in other industries, or if you want to share your own experiences, please feel free to leave a comment to that effect. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider clicking on the like button and the subscribe button as well. They're right down there. I can see them. Anyway, I'm Goose, your dad, and that's about all I got for you.